As educators, we're always looking for new ways to help our pupils really thrive. But what if one of the biggest roadblocks to a child's progress has nothing to do with the curriculum and everything to do with what's on their dinner plate? Today, we're going to dig into the critical, and I think often overlooked, connection between a child's nutrition and their actual ability to learn.
The source material we're exploring today calls this a silent, pervasive crisis. And that phrase, it really hits home, doesn't it? This isn't some far-off, abstract problem. It's something that is actively, right now, undermining the amazing work that we all do in our classrooms every single day. It's a hidden battle that so many of our pupils are fighting before they even walk through the school gates.
So, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll get a real sense of the scale of this silent crisis, right here in the UK. Then, we'll look at exactly how poverty and poor nutrition affect a child's learning. After that, we'll see what lessons we can learn from what's happening in classrooms around the world, before finishing up with some really practical, actionable steps for our schools.
Right then, let's get straight into it. Section 1, the silent crisis, and the really quite stark reality of child poverty in the United Kingdom today. Just let that number sink in for a second. 4.5 million. According to the latest figures, that is how many children are currently living in poverty in the UK. This is not a distant problem. It is a daily reality unfolding in our communities, and by extension, in our schools. Now, to put that huge figure into perspective, we are talking about 31%. That's nearly 1 in every 3 children. So just picture an average classroom of 30 pupils. Statistically speaking, that could easily mean 9 or 10 children in that single room are living with the daily weight of poverty. And poverty, crucially, leads directly to this: food insecurity. Now, this isn't just about missing a meal here and there. It's a chronic, stressful situation of not having reliable access to enough decent, healthy food. For families who are facing these impossible financial choices, the cheaper, less nutritious options often become the only choice they have.
Okay, so let's move on to Section 2 and connect the dots. How does this all directly impact learning? We're going to look at both the neurological and the behavioral toll it takes.
The impact here is huge, and it hits from 3 different angles. Cognitively, a lack of essential nutrients like iron and B vitamins literally harms brain development. It makes it harder to focus, harder to remember things, harder to solve problems. Behaviorally, it can show up as irritability or anxiety, things that we in the classroom can so easily mistake for simple discipline issues. And then physically, a weaker immune system just means more time off school, which means more lost learning.
But here is the flip side, and this is so powerful. Look at the real, tangible difference a simple intervention can make. Research has shown that just providing a reliable, nutritious breakfast can lead to as much as 2 whole months of additional academic progress. I mean, that's just a staggering return on an investment in a child's well-being. And this really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? As educators, how many times have we seen a child who seems defiant or withdrawn, or who we just think isn't trying hard enough? Could it be that what we're actually seeing are the physical symptoms of hunger? It's a massive shift in perspective when you think about it like that. All right, let's pivot a little. We've talked about the problem, so let's move toward solutions. In Section 3, we're going to look at some key lessons from classrooms around the globe and see what we can learn from international interventions.
What's absolutely clear from these global examples is that schools can be an incredibly effective platform for change. You see, providing a consistent meal isn't just about the food itself. It's a huge incentive to attend school in the first place, and that can be a deciding factor for families, especially when it comes to girls' education. In the classroom, the benefits are obvious. You get an immediate boost in energy and focus. But these programs often go even deeper, directly tackling nutrient deficiencies by fortifying food. And they also serve as a perfect hub for wider health education, proving that taking care of a child's physical health is the absolute foundation for their educational success.
Okay, let's bring all of that focus back home. Section 4, actionable steps for schools, what our source material calls our mandate to mitigate harm. So, what does this actually look like day to day? Well, the source outlines a pretty clear 3-step approach for us. First, we can actively champion nutritional support, things like breakfast clubs, and do everything we can to destigmatize free school meals. Second, it's about observing our pupils and knowing how to intervene with compassion, recognizing the subtle signs of hunger and knowing the right, discreet ways to offer support. And third, we can integrate food literacy right into the curriculum, helping to build that long-term resilience. You know, ultimately, it all comes down to this. While we, as educators, can't solve poverty single-handedly, we do have a clear mandate.
We have to use every single tool we have to lessen the educational damage it causes. This is about removing a fundamental barrier to learning and truly delivering on our promise of educational equity for every single child.
And so that leaves us with a final and I think crucial question to guide us. In everything we do, in all our efforts to help, how do we make absolutely sure that our support is always delivered with compassion and respect, and that it always upholds the dignity of every child and their family?